Are you just trying to live, laugh, or love? Or are you just trying to do all of the above? This is the podcast for you. Whether you're an aspiring comic, a headlining comic, a class clown, or just an average bro or doe looking for a good time, you, my friend, are in the right place. Welcome to the magical world of just trying to podcast. Here we go. Welcome, triers, doers, and everything in betweeners. This is Just Trying to Podcast with your host, Mike Tony Heath. The vibes are up. It's summer here in Seattle. It's feeling good. It's sunny. Me and my wife went out to Golden Gardens Park, I believe, where you can sit on this beach. And if you go off to the side where there's not like this massive party, Club Beach Club Seattle happening, it's actually really chill. And we kind of sat down. We had this little picnic with some gluten-free fried chicken, because ever since I got married, I'm living that gluten-free life with my wife, GF. And surprisingly or not, like, I hated a lot on gluten-free fried chicken, because I think before I had it professionally made, I had it homemade, and I did not make it well. I feel like I actually make some mean fried chicken. For a white guy, I think I can hold my own. Now, it's not the best, you know. It's not better than all the rest, but it's sufficient. It's an enjoyable. It's what I'm trying to say is I've had some good gluten-free fried chicken since moving to the city. I forget the name of this place. I gotta look it up because it was so good. Let's just see. Hey, Frankie, can you pull up the gluten-free place I went to? Dude, it's not the Chicken Supply. I've had the Chicken Supply. The Chicken Supply is good, but this is different. Oh, Hangry Panda. So they got like, it's like teriyaki chicken, street eats, and they got bubble tea. I got a mango bubble tea from there. It was sweet. Dude, had me up late. I got a sugar high. Sugar high. But the fried chicken was really good. It's like this little hole in the wall. Like, it's not going to be a comfortable place to go. Like, there's like window seating. You can kind of sit and at like this counter, but it's not very comfortable. But get it to go and go out to Golden Gardens. That's what we did, and we looked out over the Olympic Mountains. You could see it, especially on a clear day like it was. So we ate there at sunset. Beautiful. Life in Seattle is great. Seattle is the best place to live in America. For this, I am convinced. It's not the cheapest, but it's the best. Seattle is, there's nowhere else I'd rather live than Seattle, Washington. Mark that down, folks. I will stand by that claim today. Had a good week. Let's see, on Sunday, dude, I did a little Sunday side hustle. So what I've been doing is checking the Facebook marketplace for free stuff and then driving around the city to go pick it up. Dude, I loaded up my van to the brim. I got some like free wooden lounge chairs. I got 10 dining chairs and a dining table and a like a big drawer, like a wooden drawer. It's like this old cherry kind of like filing cabinet thing that it's all projects I'm going to do. I got it all for free. I mean, I guess it took me time and gas money driving around the city. Little Sunday side hustle action. So check me out on the Facebook Marketplace if you're in the market for a dining table or some chairs. But it hasn't all been good. You know, there have been some weird stuff that has happened too. Like, I was down by campus doing some work at this coffee shop called St. Bread, and I was riding my bike back up home, and I was at this intersection waiting for the green light, and this cyclist came off this bike path into this crosswalk where he was okay to go there because it says yield to pedestrians and cyclists, like if you're turning right. But this guy was zooming probably like 20 miles per hour. He was cooking, going downhill, and this automobilist was turning right and didn't even have his blinker on, just pulled out and turned right, pulled out right in front of this guy, and this guy hit the front fender of this little Toyota Prius and ejected off of his bike. It was a terrifying sight. The guy is okay. He like scraped up his face. But as me, who's been in not one but two bicycle accidents with automobilists, it was a little jarring to watch. It's kind of traumatic. So I've been a little skittish on my bicycle around the city recently. But the guy had a helmet, and helmet saves lives. That helmet has saved my life in my first bicycling accident, and it saved that guy's life. So this is a PSA, a public service announcement. Wear your helmet if you're on a bike, folks. While we're getting going here, I'm going to hydrate. Your second PSA for today: if you're not drinking water, man, get on the water grind, because it's very important for your health. Thank you for sending in the voicemails. We're going to listen to one voicemail here from Airseas Hernandez.
Yo, I just wanted to say your podcast is super good. Mike, keep up the great work. Your jokes are super funny when I saw him up and stand up in real life. And yeah, seriously, keep up the great work. Maybe, you'll get to go on tour sometime. But yeah, wish you the best of luck and hope everything's going well.
Dude, thank you for the encouragement. It's always good to hear your voice, Hercus. And thanks for the love. Thanks for sending in that voice memo, that voicemail. You can do that too. Check the link in our bio on the Instagrams, or go to the website, miketonyheath.com/podcast. And there's a link there for sending in a voicemail. Send in, any questions you have. If you want to hear me respond to questions live on air, then send them in there. Or if you have a thought, a quip, if you have any quips or tidbits to throw in, you can throw them in online at that link. Dude, there is, I don't know if you heard about, there's these two big films dropping. I think it would be today, as this episode comes out on Friday. The films Barbie and Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer? Opie. Not sure how to pronounce it. I think it's one of those tomato things. Barbieheimer is coming out, and I have been preparing for this film for months. Barbie. I have been stockpiling bubble wrap for, I think, probably 6 months. My wife, Megan, has probably been pretty annoyed. We have just these trash bags of bubble wrap from like different packages, or moving bubble that we had when we moved to Seattle. Like, I've just kept it all in preparation for the music video Bubble Boy, which is also dropping today. When this episode comes out, Bubble Boy will be live on YouTube and the Instagram. And I'll probably put some shorts up on like IG Reels and the TikToks as well. But check it out, man. Give it a look. Bubble Boy. So you remember that song that came out, I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. It's all plastic. It's fantastic. I think it's how it goes. Well, I've been thinking about this song, Bubble Boy, which is inspired by the film Bubble Boy, which came out in like the 2010s or 2000s, around that era. It was this guy who he walked around with like a bubble, like one of those like soccer bubbles, bubble soccer like we have today. He kind of lived in one of those bubbles. I think I don't know if it's a really inappropriate film or whatnot. I can't honestly quite remember. I just kind of the inspiration. And so there's just kind of this message I want to put out into the world. about really how sensitive we are as people, like the reality of like pride. Pride is a big problem. Pride is the despise of us all. Demise. Sorry, I picked the wrong word right there. Pride comes before the fall. And we all have these inflated egos. The late Dr. Tim Keller talked about how there's this book. It's called The Freedom of Self-Forgetfulness. It's a great little booklet. And in that book, he talks about and how our feelings are just feelings. Whenever we use the phrase, like I've stopped using the phrase like you hurt my feelings or I didn't mean to hurt your feelings, because your feelings are just feelings. Really, what we mean whenever we say that is our ego was hurt. We have an inflated ego, like a balloon. If it's overinflated, it's really sensitive to pop, or if it's deflated, it's not effective. So you want like just a well-flated. You want a well-flated balloon. And so this is kind of like this imagery, this metaphor for pride, and not pride in that sense, but pride is in like your ego pride. Yeah. So what this is about, man, is like how it's like just like this fun song too, and I'd say like you can enjoy this song without even getting the message of this song, because in all honesty, I'm just trying to live, laugh, and love. I'm trying to laugh often. I'm trying to love much, and I'm trying to live well. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm excited for these films. I am a big supporter of MoviePass. If you have MoviePass in your area, it's $10 a month. So if you go to see one film a month, I guarantee you, unless you live in like a little town like Lexington, Missouri, like it's hard to find a ticket to a film under $10. So as long as you're going to one a month, it's totally worth the deal, right? Because I go like multiple times a month, so I just pay $10 a month and I can go see one film a day with MoviePass. So and this weekend, it is my hope to go see Oppenheimer, and Barbie, both. I'm not sure what I'll see first. It'll probably depend on the sketch. But what I've heard is the recommendation is to go see Barbie first and then Ope second. So let me know. What's your review? Maybe next week I'll I would love to hear. Send in some comments on the video, Bubble Boy, what you think of it, and also your thoughts on the film. I'd love to even send in a voice memo. But life has been good, man. I've done 81 performances here in comedy since I started in the middle of August of 2022. My goal was to do 50 this year, so got that. And I've been thinking a lot about that and just life-work balance, and just the balance of it all. You just got to, people will say, you got to get up every night doing comedy. But then some people also say, if you're a beginning, you do at least 3 nights. Everyone's got their opinion. But really, like you just got to process and whatever you're just trying to do. Like for me, I'm just trying to be a comic, but I'm more than that. I'm just trying to follow the Lord. I'm just trying to be a great husband, the best husband I can be. I'm trying to be the best friend I could be to my friends here in Seattle and everywhere else in the United States of America to the ends of the earth. So for each person, like I've been trying to average 2.5 times a week. Like for me in this season of life, like that's what I just feel like confident before the Lord with my wife, and just considering all the things that I'm trying to do right now in life. And you got to say no to some things. And I think that is so important when it comes to the ego, because, we are often trying to live to gain significance from others. And if we are bound to find our significance from the approval of others, we're not going to be doing the things, one, that that the Lord is wanting us to do, but also that you want to do. Like you are letting someone else determine how you're going to live, laugh, and love. That's like a personal conviction you gotta work up. If you're married, I'd recommend doing that with your spouse or your partner. You got to do that together, man. You got to be synced up. I believe marriage is one, so you're now one. You got to do that together. So those are just some quick thoughts, Tony thoughts for you. Go back to whenever you were a kid. What did you want to be when you grew up? Who was your hero? A lot of young men will look up to these athletes. Like, I want to be like, when I was growing up in Missouri, it was like, you look up to the Chiefs players, right? You want to be like, when I was like, Priest Holmes was like the big star, or Dante Hall for the Chiefs. Like, those were like the guys like, wow, man, these are these incredible athletes. Like, Priest Holmes would be taking the ball, at the goal line. He'd be jumping over the line, the offensive and defensive line, like stretching to score the touchdowns. Like, wow, incredible feats. Or like Dante Hall would be doing that kick return magic he would do. Or, my dad was in the Navy, so I like this military figures were like my heroes. Like, I wanted to be a Navy SEAL until I learned that I was scared of water. So that didn't work out. But like, what is it like for kids out here in Seattle? They're looking up to like the Bill Gates or the Paul Allens, these like tech giants. They're going to be like the next big thing in tech. Maybe that's their hero. Kids in LA, they're thinking, I'm going to be the next Tom Cruise or Timothée Chalamet. I'm going to be this actor, this like superstar, or maybe you're a woman. So it's like Jennifer Lawrence or Jennifer Hudson, like some of these big like actresses and actors like Meryl Streep. Like, you're going to be Meryl Streep. That's where you're growing up and you're in LA. But when you're growing up in Missouri, man, your hero is Turtle Man. Turtle Man. Yee. Live action. Turtle Man is maybe one of my favorite celebrities. He's probably like a D celebrity, E celebrity, F celebrity. He might be a G celebrity. He's a solid G, probably. I don't know. If you haven't heard of Turtle Man, you can find him on the internet. And Turtle Man was so cool. Dude, so where I grew up, we would have these ponds where, it'd be really dirty ponds. Like, these ponds where cows would be living in these fields, and they have like a pond, so the cows would go cool off in there, but they would also, defecate in these ponds. Just filthy looking ponds, dude. Just mossy green, poop infested. Gross. And Turtle Man, dude, but there would be these snapping turtles. So snapping turtles are insane. Frankie, look up the stats on the snapping turtles. Alligator snapping turtles are these behemoths, like these straight up dinosaurs, dude. Google it right now. If you are listening to this, pause it, look up an alligator snapping turtle. Though it's not verified, there's rumors of an alligator snapping turtle that was 403 pounds found in Kansas back in 1937. Of course, that kind of evil would come from Kansas. You know what I mean? But you can find these giants, these dinosaurs all over Missouri, and you can find like they're over 100 pounds, maybe 200 pounds, like these massive guys, right? And girls, but they are terrifying, and humans will lose like fingers and hands from these little things. But man, so what Turtle Man would do, he would dive into these ponds and he would just pull up snapping turtles like barehanded. He'd pull up alligator snapping turtles. Here's a picture. If you're watching the video, you can see this guy just live action. He's pulling it up. He's diving down. You're like, what's going to happen? He had this show going for a while. I forget the name of it. But it was just about him on his adventures, diving into ponds and rivers, pulling out these snapping turtles, saving cows, saving stock, saving us, keeping our fingers on our hands. But I remember this time I was taking Megan, my wife, back before we got married. I was taking her to Missouri to kind of meet the fam and whatnot. and we rolled up to my grandma's house, and my little cousin was walking up the street with some homeboys, shirtless. He's in like middle school, and they're just these three guys. It's like the middle of summer, so it's like hot out. They ain't got no shirts on. They're just walking around. They coming up from the creek, and they're carrying this big. It wasn't an alligator snapping turtle, but it was a massive snapping turtle, which is still like you could lose a finger. Like they're so aggressive. Like they can be very aggressive and mean, a little dangerous, and they're just rolling up and carrying this thing, and they put it down in the driveway, and they're kind of like corralling it. And just playing with this snapper turtle. And Megan's like, what is going on? Like, just so out of her experience. I thought it was so, like, that's just like, this is Missouri, folks. We was made in Missouri, Turtle Man's our hero. So I'm making these shirts called Turtle Man is My Hero, with kind of like a cartoon outline of him with a snapping turtle. I would like to do that. But I don't know copyright, so I'm emailing Turtle Man. I would like to have these shirts. I want the shirt for myself. Turtle Man's my hero. I think that's pretty cool. And that's pretty cool. What a cool guy. Like I don't know, does he still have all his fingers? I forget. How many fingers does Turtle Man have left? This has been fun, y'all. I'm really enjoying this. I want to make these hats that are called or just like they just say Missouri on them. I'm trying to find like a good, just like the best. I want to get I like hats. I want to get a high quality hat. I've been trying to think of like a 5-panel or maybe just like a snapback like this. I kind of like this. I feel like it's kind of like a trend coming back where it's got like the string on the front of the snapback. But I feel like sometimes those the shape of those hats aren't very good. So I want to make that kind of hat. And so you can buy merch on the website or the link in the bio. Support the show so we can get some cool guests up on here, buy some good equipment, make this thing happen, man. We're just trying to live, laugh, and love. And there's supporters out there who subscribe, but more than that, subscribe. They support the podcast monthly. They give anywhere from 99 cents to blank, infinity and beyond. And this week's spotlight supporter is MaryAnne here from Seattle. And here is a word from MaryAnne herself.
Well, hey guys, my name is MaryAnne. I'm from Seattle, and honestly, my favorite podcast right now has been Just Trying to Podcast with Mike, Tony, Heath. And honestly, like, I don't listen to anything else in the car. It is my favorite thing to listen to on my way to work, and keeps me fully entertained. So I would highly recommend all of you to go check it out, and you won't be disappointed. For $5 a month, you can be a supporter just like me. Listen to Mike, Tony, Heath's podcast on the way to work.
Moving words, MaryAnne. Thank you so much for the love and the support. We appreciate you. Your support means the world to us. Thank you so much. Now let's get back to this week's episode. McRibs. Dude, when I was out doing my Sunday side hustle, I saw this sign, like one of those like letter signs on like the whiteboard with the black letter, and it says, "Bring back the McRib." And that just got me thinking, man. I loved the McRib growing up. Anybody else just love a good, nice McRib? When the McRib was like, it's back, baby. Dude, we're rolling up to the Golden Arches, going through that drive-thru so quick. Hey, can I get a large sweet tea, easy ice, and 2 to 3? 4 McRibs, please. And I feel like the McRib is like the perfect sandwich for Seattle. At first, I thought it was like, I was like, what would be like if Seattle was a McDonald's sandwich? What would it be? And I was thinking like, oh, a filet-o-fish. Obviously, it's a great. It's not something that like everybody likes, but those who like it are all about it. Like there's like some people like poo big time on the filet-o-fish, but those who love it are like all about it. And I feel like that's Seattle. But then the more I thought about it is, correct me if I'm wrong, But the McRib is just kind of like the leftovers, and they all just kind of get lumped. You just shove all the leftovers together. You kind of smush them up nice and tight. What comes out of there is the McRib. And that's kind of like Seattle, is just kind of all these like random people coming together, coming from all over the United States of America, the world, and being smushed together in this city. Just a bunch of misfits, bunch of misfit meats coming together, and you can really only enjoy it a couple months of the year. The rest of the time, you're just out living in some shed or some warehouse. That's what it feels like, because, the weather here in Seattle is only good a couple months out of the year. So you can really only enjoy it, for some people, what they say is like during summertime, like a few months out of the year. So really, I feel like if you were to describe Seattle in a McDonald's sandwich, it would be the McRib. So I'm wondering, if you were to describe your hometown, drop in the comments of this episode or send in a voicemail. Let me know. DM me. I want to know, how would you describe the city you live in or the town you live in as a McDonald's sandwich, and why would you explain it as such? Like, I think this is really fun and funny. I'm interested in. Let's just make like a, there's like this. Like if your state were a blank, if your state were a McDonald's sandwich, what McDonald's sandwich would it be? And I've been trying to think, what if Missouri was a McDonald's sandwich, what would it be? And I'm stuck, dude. I kind of think it's like a McDouble, because it's like a good bang for your buck. It's like a solid, it's like satisfying. It's not the best thing on the menu. It's not the best state to live in, but it's like really good. It's really good year round. It's always there for you, and it's a good price. I think so. Maybe Missouri is the McDouble, but one of my favorite sandwich is the McChicken. So that's what kind of made me want to say, right now, like in this era of my life, dude. And out west, I don't know if you guys, if you're listening to this and you're in the great state of Missouri or the Midwest, you probably have never had, like, you might have never had a spicy McChicken. And like that's so common. Like if you get out to like Colorado, I think that maybe is all they have. I believe, maybe. I don't know. Fact check me on that one. But you can get like the spicy McChicken out west, and I never knew McDonald's did that. And that reminds me of the time when I went to Hawaii on our honeymoon. We had like a taro pie. I think that's what they call it, taro. It's like a fruit. So it's like one of their like unique McDonald's things. So wherever you go visit, like whenever I go visit places, I like to go to their McDonald's to kind of see what's on the menu. What's going on here? What do you have unique to you? So if you're wherever city you're at, drop in the comments what kind of McDonald's. Let's just even open it up, like off the menu. It doesn't even have to be one of their sandwiches. Like if your city was on the McDonald's menu, what would it be? That's pretty fun. And every kid, kind of growing up, I was also thinking about this, like every kid has that one film they just watch on repeat over and over and over. Like they never get tired of it. It's just like constantly running on at least how it was in my family. Like mine was Lion King. Stories go, like I would just watch Lion King over and over and over again. My little sister's was Monsters Incorporated. She would watch that thing over and over. And I feel like the film you watched whenever you were a little kid, like on repeat, is like one of those personality tests. Like it really reveals a lot about who you are as a person. So for me, as a kid who watched Lion King, that like my personality, like from that, I think what the personality test would say is like if you are a Lion King kid, you're bold, you're courageous, you're a risk taker, but you also got a lot of daddy issues. I'm just kidding. I feel like that's like true of the story, right? But like if there was a personality test, that's what it would say about that. So like if you were a Monsters Incorporated kid, like you find joy in scaring people. But then as you mature in life, you find there's much greater joy in bringing laughter to people. So what I'm realizing is that my little sister Becca, like I thought I was going to be the comedian, and Becca thought she was going to be a cosmetologist, but really she is going to be the comedian. She's going to bring joy. So where are you Monsters Incorporated kids at today? Are you out just trying to be a comedian like me? You can probably find many of them, not my sister, but many of them at your local furry conventions or gatherings. Or they're out at a haunted house. They haven't grown up yet. They're still trying to scare people. That's what's bringing them joy. Or they're IRS auditors. What was the film you watched when you were growing up, and what does that reveal about you? I'm trying to create this new. So I guess we're doing this is like personality tests. So I'm an INFJ on the Myers-Briggs, which is like this 16 personality profile. If you haven't looked it up, I think you can get it free online. I'm pretty sure I did mine free. I don't know if that's less official, but it's kind of like ways you like view the world and how you process information, how you make decisions. It's kind of like these spectrums. So you're like a percentage, of like, are you more introverted or are you more extroverted? So like, how do you find energy? Is it from being around people or being by yourself? So like when I'm like wiped, I need to recharge with some like alone time. That's how I find energy. My wife needs to find time with people, which we're different in that, right? Anyway, so or even the Enneagram. The Enneagram is dude, Christians be loving the Enneagram, dude. Like sometimes these Christians be talking about the Enneagram more than they be talking about the Bible, bro. Check your heart. And nod to John Chris. And but so like I identify with like the 4 wing thing, which is like kind of like the individualist who also likes to get a lot done. So I do a lot. I'm my full-time day job, I'm a campus missionary to the University of Washington, so I'm mixing it up with college students all day, comedian by night. But I also like to work out. Like I cycle, I run, like I'm just doing a lot of things. But I want to, like I feel like nobody understands me, so like these McDonald's menu items or the film you watched growing up as a kid, just like some more personality tests. I've been putting them out. Maybe I should put those on the. You help me build this, dude. We're gonna do it free of charge until we can sell it to somebody, and we'll share the profits on this, guys. So drop a comment. Let's build this thing together. I don't know what we should call it quite yet, but we got 2 new personality tests going out here. This has been really fun. These are just the things I'm thinking about. I thought a lot about these when I was doing my Sunday side hustle, baby. The McRibs and the movies we watched growing up. Thank you, Frankie, for being on the laptop today, pulling up all of our information. Appreciate that. Dude, just some closing thoughts here today. Is this last Sunday I was preaching at our local church here about Genesis 12 and 15, which is God's promise to his people that he would bless all the peoples of the earth through Abraham and his descendants. And he would go on to say that your descendants will be as numerous as the stars. Right? And there's a lot of stars out there. Especially back in Abraham's day, we didn't have all this light pollution out here. He could see way more stars than we could see. Thanks, James Webb Telescope, finding us the stars we couldn't see without you. Appreciate you, James Webb. But so little Abe, him and his wife, they were barren, like they couldn't have a kid. So God makes this promise. It doesn't make sense, but God comes through, even though Abraham had made all these failures. These. Well, I said he took all these L's, right? That he did have moments of faithfulness to God, but he had moments where he tried to grab the promise himself. Right? He didn't wait on God to provide. But still God came through and upheld his promise with Abraham. And that's just been encouraging me this week. Like you can often feel like, what does God have to do with me? Like I'm such a failure, or I failed so much in life, or like I keep dropping the ball. is like, man, even like the forefather, one of the forefathers of the Christian faith, he lied about his wife being his sister to save his own skin multiple times. Like this guy, he doesn't have a perfect track record. But in God's grace and mercy, like he still chose him. And so like, that's been encouraging me. I feel like, I've, I don't know. I feel like I've, just failed, not like massively, but like I have failures, and we all do. We've all, we've been irritable. We've been shady at moments. We said we were going to do this, but then we did that. We all have these things that maybe we even carry shame about. And what's so beautiful, man, what I just believe is that, like, the Bible says Jesus became sin so that we might become righteousness. And Abraham believed, and it was credited to him as righteousness. So we get to share in that promise of being blessed by God. Like, as we believe, if you believe, you will be saved. Like that's beautiful. That's crazy, right? That's crazy. But there's so much freedom in that. And like, you don't have to find, just to circle back, like you don't have to find significance in your accomplishments or what other people view your accomplishments or view you. Like, you are free because like, and like, you're a child of God, in Christ. And that's a beautiful thing, man. And that's, like God's promise since day one, since the beginning, man. It's like, he's drawing his people to himself. And I'm just resting in that truth today and enjoying that. And this has been so fun. And thank you so much for listening, guys. This week, I would have headlined down at this open mic in Gig Harbor, Washington, which I guess is like this touristy spot. So I'm really excited to explore that. And got shows coming up at Laughs Comedy Club on Frankie, what are the dates on those? The 4th and the 5th of August. It's a Friday and Saturday, 4 shows. Get tickets on the website or the link in bio. If you're in Tri-Cities, I will be down at Joker's Comedy Club in Richland on August 11th and 12th. I will be hosting for Skip Clark on that weekend. Also, if you're down in the Tri-Cities, let's hang, man. I'll be back there that weekend. As always, you can support the podcast or send in a voice memo. We would do that. We've been trying to incorporate that more into these solo episodes. And we're also going to read some comments on that. So that's kind of like the new format going forward. I'm going to save comments mostly for these solo episodes and voice memos. So I'm going to have some guests on the next couple weeks. So be looking out for that. We got some very fun guests coming your way. And, dude, just I love you guys. We are just trying to live, laugh, and love. And it's been a journey of about 8 months since doing this podcast. So thank you to my day ones. Maybe we gotten a lot better since then. Maybe we got this microphone, dude. We were doing this little weak lapel mic. You go back to listen to the first couple episodes, you're like, dude, this sounds so bad. It was like a $20 lapel mic. So, we're growing as we go, baby. We're growing as we go. So, all right, my friends, as always, stay funny and stay weird. Peace. Great shot.